Hello all and welcome to TVM Academy. This is RC number 65 of our free practice course VARC 100. If you are new to this channel, you can simply sign up for this free course on our website. Write RCs there as in the form of free tests. They are accessible to anybody who wants to access them. Come back, watch this video explanation so that you understand the reasoning behind every eliminated answer choice, every selected answer choice. That's the appropriate way of drawing maximum benefit out of this course, VRC 100. The link to our portal is available in the description box of this video. So you might just want to register, sign up, do a solve RC number 65 and come back and watch this video. Okay. Let us begin RC number 65. A quick synopsis of the passage first. So in the first paragraph, author says that the adoption of dominant language by immigrant groups is necessary to avoid discrimination. So the immigrant groups to the United States will have to adopt the English language if they want to avoid discrimination against them. In the next two paragraphs, author tells us that the Spanish-speaking communities are an exception to this pattern, and therefore he proposes bilingual education should be promoted in public schools in the United States. And in the last two paragraphs, he justifies his demand and he says the demand should be seen as one for inclusion. If you really want to include these Spanish-speaking communities within the broader American character, American culture, then you should promote bilingual education in public schools. And the demand for making English as the only language and the official language is unnecessary. It should be avoided because it might result in alienation of these communities. So this is the broader argument. This is the broader, main idea of this passage. Let us look at the questions now. It can be inferred from the passage that one of the characteristics of immigrant groups to the United States has traditionally been that after immigration, relatively few members of the group do what? Understand the question? Question is not about Spanish-speaking communities, number one. It is about any immigrant group in general. Second, the question is relatively few members of the group do something, which means not many members do something. What is that something? Okay. Second paragraph is the root. So here he says traditionally English has replaced the native language of immigrant groups by the second or third generation. So if a group of immigrants, let's say a family from France, were to settle in the United States, by the second or third generation, they would have adopted English as their primary language. English will have replaced, the native language of the immigrant group. This is what it says. Traditionally, that happens. But then he says Spanish-speaking communities are an exception because they keep moving back and forth between their present and former communities. And because they, keep moving back and forth, they are able to retain Spanish. What does that mean? If these communities are an exception, it means that members of other immigrant groups do not move back and forth repeatedly between United States and their former communities. They do not do so. If this has been identified as the reason behind their ability to retain Spanish, it simply means that immigrants of other groups do not follow this pattern. Therefore, our answer should look like this. Relatively few members of the group move back and forth. Move back and forth. This should be our answer. Now the question becomes interesting because, okay, option A is easy to eliminate. Option D is easy to eliminate. But options B and C are tempting, both of them. We want B, but what is the reason for eliminating C? Why is C wrong? Because C also says relatively few members of the immigrant group use their native language in their new communities, which is also partially correct. But why am I saying it is partially correct? Because it is true by the second or third generation. Immediately after moving, they might still be using their native language. Because option C is generic in nature, it's broad, it applies to every immigrant group and every generation of every immigrant group, it is not the correct answer. That's the reason C is wrong. Option B, the correct answer. The passage suggests that one of the effects of the debate over bilingual education is that it has done something. What is it? Okay, let us see. The issue of, this is our question root, the issue of bilingual language has nevertheless served to unite the leadership of the nation's Hispanic communities. So all the leaders of all the Hispanic communities in the United States have come together. They have been united, because of this issue of bilingual education. So one of the effects of the debate over bilingual education is that it has united various Hispanic communities. Now I am looking for a paraphrase for this idea. Let's see. Option A, it has given the Hispanic community a newfound pride in their culture. There's no talk of pride, there's only talk of unity. Also, there's no talk of newfound. It would imply earlier they did not have pride. Now they have started taking pride. This is a newfound pride in their culture. Nothing of this nature is mentioned. It has hampered the education of Spanish speaking students. Alien idea. Nothing of this nature is mentioned. One effect is that it has demonstrated the negative impact of imposing English as the official United States language. It has not demonstrated anything yet. Because English has not been imposed yet as the official United States language, author only argues that it should not be imposed. It simply means English has not yet been imposed. What about option D? It has provided the issue of bilingual education has provided an overarching banner under which Spanish speaking communities could rally. Rally is to come together, is equal to unite. And overarching banner would mean a common idea or a common banner under which they can come together. So overarching banner would also mean unity. An issue, a banner under which they can unite, they can come together, they can rally, they can support each other. That's exactly what we needed. Option D is the correct answer. In the third paragraph, the phrase different political agendas refers specifically to conflicting opinions regarding which issue. Okay, third paragraph, different political agendas. This is my keyword, key expression. So this refers to conflicting opinions about which issue. Please read this line carefully. It says the issue is important for people with different political agendas, from absorption at one pole to separatism at the other. Absorption, whose absorption? Spanish speaking communities absorption. Separatism, whose separatism? Same. So the different political agendas refer to conflicting opinions about absorbing the Spanish speaking communities within the broad US culture. That should be our answer. The extent to which the Hispanics, the Spanish speaking community, should blend or should be absorbed into the larger United States society culture, A should be our answer. These words, absorption and separatism, take us to option A. This is the issue of discussion. This is the issue of conflict. The extent to which the Hispanics should be absorbed or should be blended into the broader American culture. One spectrum, one ideology says they should be separate, another says they should be absorbed completely. Therefore, the extent to which they should be absorbed is the issue of, is this the concern or is the topic of debate. Option B, methods of inducing Hispanics to adopt English. The debate is not about the methods in which they can be taught to adopt English. Rather, they have to be blended into the broader culture, but methods, there's no talk of methods. The debate does not refer to, or different political agendas do not refer to the methods. It also does not refer to the means of achieving non-discriminatory education for Hispanics, not what we are reading there. and it does not clearly refer to the official given responsibility for decisions regarding bilingual education. The different political agendas does not refer to this issue, this topic of debate. This is not a topic of debate, option D. Okay. In the last paragraph, the author says that it would be unwise to require the universal use of English. Why it would be unwise to require the universal use of English? One reason is that it is not clear whether requiring the universal use of English would promote or hinder the education of children whose English is limited. This is true. How do we know? So, further, given the present state of understanding about the effects of bilingual education on learning, it would be unwise to require the universal use of English. So we don't know what positive impact can bilingual education have. We don't know what how much universal use of English can impact learning of the students in that sense, which is exactly what option A says. Option B, the nation's Hispanic leaders have shown that bilingual education is the most effective. First extreme modifier, nowhere is it written that bilingual education is the most effective when it includes the maintenance of Spanish language in schools. Also, Hispanic leaders have not shown anything. So alien idea. One reason author says it would be unwise to require the universal use of language is the question of language in the schools should be answered by those who evaluate bilingual education. Author has not talked about these researchers or scholars anywhere who evaluate bilingual education. Alien idea. One reason he recommends that universal use of English should be avoided is that it has been shown that bilingual education is necessary to avoid disadvantaging the learning of children whose English is limited. Well, a good answer choice. The only problem is the word necessary is extreme. It could be helpful, but is it necessary? We don't know that from the passage. Passage does not say that bilingual education is necessary. It should be promoted. It should benefit students. It will also benefit the Spanish communities. But is it necessary to avoid disadvantaging the learning abilities of children or learning of children? We don't know that. Therefore, option D is alien or extreme. As simple as that. So these were the 4 questions. A moderate level passage, a moderate to difficult level passage. Questions were tricky, options were tricky in some cases. I hope you got at least 2-3 of them right. Keep improving, keep practicing. Cheers to learning. Until next time, bye bye.